Hey everybody, welcome back into another episode of Winning Bets. I'm your host Jason Mattis as always, and I'm doing my weekly NASCAR show where I'm always joined by William Blackwell. How's it going there, Will?
It's going good, man. I am ready to talk about some predictions for the Pocono Doubleheader. This weekend is going to be very awesome, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I remember when they did the doubleheader, last year, and it was a good, 2 days of racing. And I'm with you. I'm certainly looking forward to it again this year. Let's remind everybody what we do. We briefly recap the last week, and then we dive on into the current race where we preview that entire race while submitting our picks for a chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races together. And then I'll hang back solo, and I'll give you the picks for a chance to win $10,000 over on the NBC Sports Predictor app, and then we can win another $1,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. As I just said, let's go ahead though and recap last week's race. It was the Ally 400. Kyle Larson was the winner. Who predicted that? Raise your hand there, William. Get your hand up in there. There you go. We both predicted Kyle Larson. It counts though, right? I mean, even though that was kind of a gimmick, that counts, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say. I think the biggest winner out of all the Nashville weekend was not Kyle Larson. It was not Ryan Preece from the Truck Series or Kyle Busch. It was the resin that they put down around the track. And like in the years past, they've been putting down PJ1 and stuff like that, mixtures on the track to make more grip. But they decided to put down resin, which kind of got more like rubber, I guess you can say. It's hard to explain how the ins and out of that resin worked, but it produced a lot more side by side action. And you saw that second groove more effective, I guess you could say, than like a PJ1 groove would be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it definitely provided some good racing. I'm sure they'll probably reuse that again next time because it was really good there. I don't know if they used that mainly because they hadn't been at Nashville before, but whatever it was, it was certainly a good thing. I also predicted Kevin Harvick would get top five. I said he would probably get fifth, and he even got fifth. So we had a good shot on last week's show. And on the NBC Sports Predictor app, we got enough points to get third place, and we cashed on that app. So we were on fire last week, William. The only thing about last week's race there about Ally. Did it feel like to you that NBC was kind of making up a gas shortage issue there? I mean, I watched the race. The fuel window, it said was 65 to 70 laps. I just felt like they were trying to create some drama. What did you take up from that?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. NBC is full of adding drama to the equation, and they certainly did at the end with the fuel mileage thing. Kyle Larson was good. I don't know why they made it so big of a deal where he when he left pit road, they were saying he was like 4 to 5 laps short. He might have been about 1 to 2 laps short, but they said it 4 to 5. So I don't know why in the world they did that, but man, they're just attention getters. But they're way better than Fox, though. I cannot complain.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, I guess they're trying to get people to not change the channel, but I mean, I've sat there and watched, a couple hundred laps. I'm not tuning off for the last 20 laps just because, so they didn't need to go that far. I think Kurt Busch was the only guy that actually ran out of gas, right? Or was there anybody else or just Busch?
I think Kurt Busch was, but back to what you were saying, though, about the channel thing. They're trying to do that to prevent people from going to another channel. I think you had a big golf tournament this past weekend, and it was tight at the end, Bryson DeChambeau, but man, I'm talking too much golf. But that was going on, and NBC might have been afraid that it might get some of their viewers to go away and go to golf on NBC, the big NBC, which did not want to happen. So they tried their hardest to keep them on, and I think they certainly did because that fuel mileage thing made it really interesting.
Yeah. No, I think you're right because it was that U.S. Open where John Rahm was coming down that back nine where he got a nice dramatic win there going birdie. I'd forgotten about the U.S. Open. I was just so locked in on watching the race. I didn't even consider golf, nor did I consider ever changing the channel. So with that being said, let's change the channel though now, and let's go to Pocono where, as you mentioned, there is a doubleheader. They're racing Saturday and Sunday. Really no difference when you return to handicapping because it's not like there's a night race or anything. Both of them are ran in the afternoon. It's the big 2.5 mile, big flat track. I kind of compare it to Indianapolis, at least when I do my research, because just a big flat track. What are some of the things you look at when you start previewing this race coming up this weekend?
I look at the front stretch. The front stretch is really long. Right before we got this podcast going today, I saw an interesting fact on Twitter. Martinsville and Bristol combined is just as long as the front stretch at Pocono. That's just crazy, and it shows how big Pocono's front stretch is. And you're going to see a lot of drafting and a lot of slingshot passes, if you will. because that's going to be a key factor in Sunday's race, passing, because once they get spread out, it's going to be hard to pass, but man, it's going to be intense.
I love that you mentioned that tweet that NASCAR sent out about a couple hours ago, because I actually added that to my notes to mention that, because I just thought that was a really cool, interesting fact that front stretch was longer, as you mentioned, than Martinsville and Bristol. If we take a second and remember 2020, Harvick and Hamlin won those races. That's generally what they did in 2020, but they finished 1-2 in both of those races, so they were just dominant that entire weekend. My only question to you is, and I haven't seen it yet online, are they inverting the starting grid on Sunday 1 through 20 like they did last year?
Yes, they're going to do 1 through 20. Whoever finishes 20th on Saturday's race will start on the pole for Sunday's race. But if you finish 21st, you will start 21st for Sunday's race, and so on. So it's going to be really interesting to see who gets that 20th place finish on Saturday's race. And, man, they might be in a catbird seat Sunday, because track position will be key at the start. And if you're starting up front, you're going to be up front for most of the day. Look at Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at Nashville.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the case. Okay, cool. I hadn't quite heard that, but I figured they were doing 1 through 20 and to go ahead and invert it. All right, let's jump on into it. We're going to, on this show, we're just going to give you our picks for Saturday's show in terms of the Jackpot Races and the NBC Sports Predictor app, and then we'll give out our other ones on Twitter, because you'd be crazy not to watch Saturday's race and then use that to help you out on Sunday. So that being said, let's start off with that Jackpot Races where you can win $25,000. That's the one where they give you 6 groups of drivers. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the group. Then you got to give them a winner, and then you got to give them a second place driver. So let's jump on into it with Group 1. You got Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Truex, and Elliott. You go ahead and pick first, William. Who you got?
It's going to be the same pick as you, I'm sure. I'm pretty certain that it will. It'll be Kyle Larson in the 5 car, because right now Kyle Larson is on a roll, and, man, it'd be just hard to bet against him. He's on a tear. He won the Coca-Cola 600 in a dominating fashion. The clean sweep, I guess you can say, on the pole, winning all stages, if I'm not mistaken there. And he won the race and go to Sonoma, wins the All-Star race, $1 million. And he won at Nashville. So Kyle Larson makes it 5 in a row, the 5P.
Wow. I mean, I got Kyle Larson on my notes too. Dude is on fire. Him, the team, nothing could go any wrong. He's even got 3 top 5s here at Pocono. He's got 3 stage wins here at Pocono. He's got 7 other stage finishes in the top 10. Yeah, you can't go wrong picking Kyle Larson these days. Let's go ahead and move on to Group 2, where we got Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Logano, and Blaney to pick from. I'll go ahead and go first, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Kevin Harvick. The reason I'm going to go ahead and pick Kevin Harvick is he's got 6 straight top 10 finishes on the NASCAR circuit, as long as they're running on oval. So if you remove the road courses and look at the ovals, he's doing really good. 6 straight top 10 finishes. I just mentioned earlier, he was the winner last year. He's got 4 top 5s in his last 6 races here. He's got the best driver rating since 2018, and he's led the most laps since 2018. So go ahead and give me Kevin Harvick. What about for you?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to pick anyone besides Kevin Harvick in this group, because I look at the Penske drivers. In the All-Star race, they were spot on. All of them finished in the top 5. But that's not a points-paying race. But when they went to Nashville, Keselowski was nowhere to be found, and Ryan Blaney wasn't either. Logano was lurking in and out of the top 10 for most of the day. But, man, it just makes you wonder about Team Penske. But with all that being said, I'm picking Kevin Harvick in this group. We're agreeing right now 2 for 2. And Harvick's on a roll right now. He finished in the top 5. And he's going to a track which he's won at in the past. So give me Kevin Harvick in Group 2.
Okay, and I'm exactly with you. People have been kind of asking me on Twitter, how do you factor in that All-Star race? I don't factor it at all. There was no points on the line. They're racing for $1 million. There's different strategies at hand. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't factor that one in at all. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Group 3. You're up first between Bowman, Dillon, Bell, Kurt Busch, and Reddick. Who are you going to take winning this group?
I am going to pick Alex the Bowman, the showman. Alex Bowman has 2 wins this season, winning at Richmond and in Dover. And he's usually running pretty well at Pocono. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or 2018, where he finished in the 3rd place. So give me Alex Bowman in this race.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you've been dialed into this weekly NASCAR show every week, I've been on Team Hendrick. I was leaning Bowman, but this is a tough group between Bowman, Bell, and Kurt Busch when you go ahead and look at the stats. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to go ahead and choose Christopher Bell. He finished fourth last year on Saturday's race, and he finished third in stage one on Sunday before he eventually crashed out on that Sunday race. So I thought he had a good weekend. He brought a good car, and obviously now he's on a better team. He had a much-needed top 10 finish last week in Nashville. I mean, he's been struggling, folks. I mean, make no bones about it. Bell has been struggling, but I thought that was a very, very much-needed top 10 finish. So I'm looking to see if he can carry that momentum up on into Pocono this weekend. And then he's got the 11th best driver rating here at Pocono. So I'll go ahead and do that one. All right, let's go ahead and now move on to Group 4. We got to pick between Buescher, Dibenditto, Suarez, Wallace, and Chastain. I'll go up first, and I'm going to go ahead and take Daniel Suarez. How about that one? In this group, amongst these drivers, he's got the best average finish, he's got the best driver rating, and he's got the most top 10s here at Pocono. And he had a P7 last week at Nashville. That was super impressive to me. Who are you going to take in Group 4 here?
Daniel Suarez is a great pick. I know just a couple moments ago we were joking about the All-Star race and not pretty much counting it, but I look at Ross Chastain. He raced in the Open. He started dead last and worked his way up within 20 laps, or 15 laps, my bad. And he advanced to the All-Star race, and he did the same exact thing. Started last, or close to last, and worked his way up. At Nashville, he was on fire, and he finished runner-up. I don't think he's going to win this race at Pocono, or both of them by any means. But, man, he will be a solid driver to pick for a top 10 finish. So give me Chastain.
Yeah, I agree. When I looked at the group there, it was hard for me not to pick Chastain. Obviously, I didn't pick it, but I think he's the sexy pick. P2 finish last week. He's been doing great. Now, that's a really good pick there. Good job picking him. All right, let's move over now to Group 5, where we've got Stenhouse, Newman, Almirola, Jones, and LaJoie. You're up first.
I have a feeling we might agree on this one, but I am picking Mr. Excitement, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. started off the 2021 season kind of hot, and then since then it has gone downhill. But at Nashville, things started peaking forward for him in the right direction, bringing it home inside the top 10, which was much needed, and he also closed the gap from 16th place in the playoff standings. So give me Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Okay, all right. Now, we do not have the same driver going on in this group. After I did my notes, apparently I'm on Stewart-Haas Racing this week because I'm on that 10 car, and I'm going to go ahead and take Eric Almirola right there. Look, he finished third and fifth last year, so he had a really good, solid weekend there at Pocono. He's got the best average finish amongst drivers in this group at 10.33. He's got the second best driver rating and drivers in this group. He's also got the best average finish of drivers in this group at Indianapolis. Again, to me, that was a really good comp here for Pocono, so I did look at that. And then he had P4 last week in Nashville. I think it looks like, him, Harvick, 4, 5, maybe Stewart-Haas is coming around here a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance here on Eric Almirola for this one. So that would give me him right there in the number 10 car. Last group, number 6, you got to pick between McDowell, Custer, Priest, Briscoe, and Alfredo. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to take your guy, Briscoe. I looked up his Xfinity Series stats. He's got 1 win and 2 top 5s in his last 3 races here at Pocono in that Xfinity Series. So good enough for me. I'm going Briscoe. What about for you?
Yeah, Chase Briscoe. But more so, this whole group every single week, your bet is just as good as anyone's. And because every single week, there's always a big wreck, and it always involves pretty much all these drivers. But like you said, though, Chase Briscoe is really well here at Pocono. Won at Pocono in the Xfinity Series 1 year ago. Hitting the 10-car Ross Chastain on a restart. But he has 2 top 5 finishes here. So he's extremely well here. But lately, at Nashville, he ran really well inside the top 15 all day long until he kind of lost his brakes at the end of the race, and it forced him to go to the garage. So give me Chase Briscoe, my man.
Okay, all right, cool, man. We're in a lot of agreement tonight. Let's have us a good weekend. But before we have a good weekend, we got to give these people a winner. We got to give them a second place. Who's going to take the checker flag there, Will?
All right, here. It's obvious to a lot of people that Kyle Larson is going to be fast. But you know what? Kyle Larson going to a 5-peat, I don't think that's going to happen for at least the Saturday race. I think Kevin Happy Harvick will get the job done. In my YouTube video earlier this week, I picked Larson winning race 1 and Harvick winning 2. But I think it's going to be vice versa, Harvick winning 1 and Larson winning 2. But, man, Harvick getting his first checker flag of the season, and they're well beyond halfway through the regular season, and that's going to be a key note for a lot of people there that take up. But finishing runner up to him will be Kyle Larson, obviously. It's going to be a great battle between the two drivers, so there you go. Harvick and Larson.
Did we email notes? Because I got Harvick Larson too. I thought I was going to be sneaky and be like, because normally your winner comes up out of Group 1, you know? And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go Harvick. He's in Group 2. But we did it the same. I got Harvick. I got Kyle Larson. I mean, you said it perfectly. That's why I've got it. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Let's give the people something bonus. Even though we're not going to give all the picks for Sunday's race, how do you have Sunday's winner? Just give us the winner for who's going to take that checkered flag on Sunday.
I know you just said the winner, but it's easy. It's going to be Larson and Harvick, your top two.
So you're just going to go ahead and flip it. Okay, perfect. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, that's how we're going to fill out our chances to win $25,000 on the Jackpot Races on Saturday. Before we get out of here, William, tell people the great things you're doing over there on your YouTube channel.
On my YouTube channel, every single week, I do a race prediction. And in that race prediction, I'm also doing a Pick 5 contest. And if you're new to YouTube and wondering how does a Pick 5 contest work, well, it is pretty simple. It is free, first of all. But all you have to do is go down below to the comment section of my video and type in who you think will finish in the top 5. If you go 5 for 5, you get an autograph of your choice. And just a couple weeks ago at the Sonoma race, we had a winner on my channel, Dave Steele. He won a Richard Petty autograph. So there you go there. It is possible to win. He went 5 for 5. But if you go 4 for 5, you get an unsigned hero card of your choice. And I can say this without hesitating. I got every single driver right now participating in NASCAR. So there you go. Just comment down below on my channel and to win free prizes.
Okay, cool. And to go along with that, I've been checking out your channel. You've also got some great videos on like the NASCAR rumors when, Kozlowski was maybe, going to change teams, and then you had the impact there of Kurt Busch, maybe leaving Chip Ganassi. So folks, he's not only is he previewing each race, recapping each race, he's even talking about silly season, where drivers may be moving. So you got to go out there and you got to check out his content right there. You can also find him on Twitter. He's WBlackwell72. That's WBlackwell72. That's how we're going to do it this week, folks. Again, check for both of us on Twitter. We'll submit our picks there for Sunday's race after watching Saturday's race, see what we learn, see if there's anything. To me, it would have to be pretty dramatic to changes. I'm actually thinking about running back the same entries, for Sunday and see if like one of these two races will just hit on the research. But we'll see. Maybe something drastic will happen on Saturday's race and we'll modify it. Again, just check for us on Twitter. All right, man. Let's set it back. Let's enjoy these two races. We're going to be recapping 2 races on next week's show. It's going to be fun next week.
Yeah.
All right.
And especially NASCAR is going to a new track next week. So that's going to make next week's episode more interesting because you got 2 Pocono races and Road America. Man.
Yeah, NASCAR's got a fun schedule this year. Working in Circuit Americas. Yeah, I like their schedule. A little heavy on the road courses, you could kind of say. But, maybe, I believe it's 7. 7's a touch too many, but I don't know. The dirt, I don't know. Just maybe, man, they've just kind of mixed it up pretty well this season. I think it's gonna be fun. I love it. All right, guys, that's how we're doing it. We're gonna go ahead and let Will drop. Don't forget to hang back here. I'll give you a chance to win $10,000 and another $1,000. Enjoy the race, man. Have a good one. We'll see you back here next week.
You too, man. See you.
All right, there you guys have it. That's how we're doing it for a chance to win $25,000. Now let's move it over to the NBC Sports Predictor app where we can win $10,000. This one, they give you all 3 stages. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the stage, and then you got to give them a top 3. We cashed last week. It wasn't with the picks that I gave on the show. It was I modified them after watching practice and qualifying there over the weekend, made some changes, and then we got those modified picks there to go ahead and cash as we finish in 3rd place there with 70 points. So again, just make sure you're following me on Twitter because we're certainly going to maybe make modifications after watching Saturday races. So yeah, guys, just make sure you're following me on Twitter so that way when we cash like we did last weekend, you can be part of that cash as well. So with that being said, though, let's go ahead and jump into this NBC Sports Predictor app. For stage 1, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kurt Busch. He got 8th last week, so he's starting in a good position this week. He's got better numbers at Pocono than any other driver here in this group, so I'll take Kurt Busch. For number 2, I'll go ahead and say William Byron. Look, Hendrick has just been too strong this season. So it's really hard not to take a Hendrick driver, to be quite honest, right there. And it also doesn't hurt that he's got better numbers at Pocono than all these other drivers that he's being penned up against in this group. So go ahead and give me Byron. And for number 3, I'll go ahead and say Kyle Larson. He's on fire, folks, on fire. You guys know that already. So for stage 3, go ahead and give me Kyle Larson. And for a top 3, I'm going to go ahead and say Kevin Harvick, as I just mentioned. For second place, I'll go ahead and say Kyle Larson. And then for third place, I'm going to go ahead and slide in Kyle Busch. Look, he's been the one guy, obviously on Joe Gibbs Racing, but mainly just other teams that are competing on a more consistent week in, week out basis. I know we didn't have maybe the greatest of all showing there last week there in Nashville. It wasn't quite competing with Hendrick, but he has the better chance to me. So I like Kyle Busch. And if you look at his stats since 2018, he's got 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He's led the second most laps, and he's got the second best driver rating here at Pocono. So I like Kyle Busch there to come in at P3 on Saturday's race. All right, so those were for Saturday's races there on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Again, in terms of Sunday's contest on the NBC Sports Predictor app, I will tweet those answers sometime Saturday night or Sunday morning after watching the race. If we move it over now to the Fox Bet Super 6 app, this is where you can win $1,000. This is only for the race, though, on Sunday, so I'm not going to give you my answers on this video because you'd be crazy not to watch Saturday's race and apply that to this contest there on Sunday. So for the Fox Bet Super 6 app, just make sure you're following me on Twitter, and I'll go ahead and tweet those answers out sometime Saturday and sometime Sunday. And I'm really conflicted on whether or not, at least on that Jackpot Races app, if I really am just going to run it back. I mean, like I just said there a few minutes ago, something drastic would have to change for me to not to just run it back because I love the research so much. I do feel like Harvick is going to take one of these checkered flags. I like, obviously, Larson probably to take a checkered flag or at least to finish, probably second. I don't know. I feel really strong about our entries, this week so far on the Jackpot Races and then on the NBC Sports Predictor app. But again, guys, just make sure you're following me on Twitter if we make any modifications to these picks, or then when I do give you my official picks, even if I do run it back, I'll tweet it even if I do run it back, the exact same entries there. So again, guys, just follow me there. Otherwise, guys, it's Pocono, baby. 2 races, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday. We got a weekend full of racing to go ahead. Go ahead, sit back and enjoy it. Get those picks in. Hit that like button on your way out. And as always, I wish you guys good luck on your picks, and we'll see you next week on the NASCAR show. Have a good one. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.